Well, hello YouTube. Long time no see. I haven't posted a video in over a month. Life happens, as you probably know, but we are back today with Summer Game Fest, which just happened. I just watched with a couple of friends, and I have mixed feelings on it, and I wanted to come out here and tell you guys what I thought, what I liked, what I didn't like about the show. So let's jump right into it. Whenever I talk about these kinds of showcases, I like to split them up into two parts: the actual games that are being shown and the presentation and the showcase itself. So I'm going to talk about all the things I liked about both sides and the things I didn't like on each stand. Also, make sure if you're new to subscribe, because we're going to do a review of the Xbox showcase that's happening on Sunday as well. So if you guys want to have my thoughts and feelings on that one too. But let's jump right into the Summer Game Fest, which I'll start with the presentation of it all and the showcase. I did feel like this year's show was a pretty good one overall. It was the reason we talk about it this way is because most of these shows, there's always this part near the end where it just ends up being an ad break, where it's just there's no more real presentation, there's no more real showcase of it all, and all it is just that's where Jeff Keighley, who's the host, gets all his money from all the ad revenue by just posting a bunch of ads over and over and over again. And it feels like it just breaks the flow of the show. This year, I felt like I started watching the show thinking, oh, he broke it up, because there was a lot of ad breaks during the show where like every 20 to 30 minutes we'd have like a Samsung ad or this like Dolby Atmos ad. So they kept having these little breaks. And I'm like, okay, great. He kind of split it up where you'd have a couple announcements, a little ad break, a couple more announcements, and another ad break, which I was like, that's a good way of doing it. But the problem was we still had that 30 minutes, or it wasn't 30 minutes this time, but like a good 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes near the end where it just felt like a very long ad break. So unfortunately, I felt like the flow of this show just wasn't up to par. I was kind of disappointed on that side. It is better than his earlier ones, but I feel like he could still just work on those ad breaks and the flow of it all. It just felt a little weird. Near the end, we had like I don't even know, there was like all these actors presenting a mobile game, and that ad, just that break, or that commercial, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, went on for such a long time. It was really funny. We were all laughing, but we were all like, what the heck is the game? What are you showing us? It was such a weird break. And then there was another ad in there too where they just went on for such a long time with, again, it really broke the flow. So overall, I didn't love the presentation of the show as much as I did all the others, but it wasn't his worst one. But now let's talk about the games. On the side of the games, I'm kind of mixed, where I feel like I ended the show thinking, what was the point of this showcase? It clearly, he didn't have enough. I know that Jeff Keighley wants to do this every single year, but this year definitely felt like a year where he probably could have skipped it or shortened the show, because he really didn't have as many presentation games to show off than he did all the other years. Is it his fault? Probably not. It's not his decision on what games are being developed and what games are ready to be shown, but it definitely felt like there was a lot of announcement that shouldn't have been there, but there were a couple in there that I really did like. So I have a list here, so if you see me looking down, I'm just looking at the list that I wrote down from the show itself, and we're going to kind of go real quickly through most things. I don't want to go every single game. The first thing I want to say is that I think he showed a lot of love for the indie team, and I thought that was a really cool thing. He showed off 2 or 3 games that were made by just one person, a bunch of small indie games that were made by small teams, which I thought that was an awesome way of doing it. I also really appreciated how he handled the situation within the gaming industry when it comes to the layoffs and all that. If you guys don't really know, since the start of this year, 2024, there have been so many massive layoffs across the board. I think there was over 1,400 people who were laid off at Microsoft Xbox, and then a bunch of teams got shut down. Every single major team like EA and all of them have had a lot of huge layoffs, and it's been happening all the time. Like, the gaming industry has been really difficult, and Jeff Keighley did get a lot of shit on him for his Game Awards show, where he basically spent the whole show celebrating games and not ever actually pointing out the layoffs and talking about it. I feel like he did a really good job this year by this showcase, where he mentioned it in a very professional manner. Look, we can't expect him to be on the stage and just call out Xbox or call out any of these companies, because the part of the Summer Game Fest show is for him to have those companies on his show to showcase the games. So of course, he's never going to name names. That's not something you guys should expect from him. And I've seen already people on Twitter who are upset that he didn't call them out directly. Like, that's not what he's trying to do. But what he did do was really cool, which is what he explained, is that he showed that the top 10 games of this year 8 of them are indie games and 2 of them are from major companies. And he explained that the big companies need to take care of their employees better, because if you lay them off, or I don't remember exactly the way he explained it, but indie teams, basically the indie games, are blowing up. So these game developers have opportunities outside of the major companies. So you need to take care of them properly if you want to have them, because if not, they will succeed in whatever else they do. And it felt like a really good way to tell the people that who did get laid off, you're going to be fine, you're going to make it. And for the big companies, like, you can't be doing this, because look at what they're able to pull off on their own. If you want to have these good people, keep them on the team. It was a good way. This is not the best way of explaining it. Highly recommend you go watch the clip. I think that he handled it in a much better way. I'm kind of just remembering how he said it. Overall, though, I thought it was a really good way to present it. Okay, now let's talk about the games. He started off with Lego Horizons. Now, Lego Horizon Adventure, sorry. It's a new Lego game, 2-player co-op based in the Horizon universe. It looks really cool. It looks like a fun little cute game. It's a little weird that PlayStation is releasing that and Astrobot in the same holiday time, but no other like major serious games. Very weird to see PlayStation release 2 of these massive family games at the same time. I would have expected them to kind of spread them out, but it did say holiday 2024, unless we get some kind of delay. Looks really cool, very excited. My wife and I are super pumped to play it in co-op, and I thought that was a really good way to start the show, because for me, it was a surprise. Apparently, it got leaked. There were rumors about it. I had no idea. I thought it was a really cool little way to start. Then we had a game called No More Room in Hell 2. This is apparently a sequel to a game that was really popular on PC before. What I saw looked pretty cool. I wasn't mind-blown by it, but I am excited to check it out. It is from the guys that made Chivalry and Chivalry 2, and it reminds them a little bit of Left 4 Dead is what they say over here. Then we had a Harry Potter game. I'm not a Harry Potter guy, so I'm just going to skip through this. Cuff Bus was probably the game of the show for me. This was a game made by just one guy, the one who made Choo Choo Charles. It is a 20-player online multiplayer game where you're all in a prison and you all have to escape. And it's PvPvE, so you're trying to all escape prison, but you can betray people. There's only a certain amount of people who get on the helicopter and everything. Highly recommend you guys go check it out. The only problem I had with this one is that it said coming out in 2025, maybe. And that to me is like, look, I get it's a meme, it's funny that it's one guy, of course it needs time. But if you're not even sure it's going to come out 2025, I would have waited a little bit longer, especially with Jeff Keighley having Gamescom, Game Awards. He has enough showcases that maybe this one wasn't the best place to show it, but it still looked really cool. Then we got the Star Wars Outlaw. This happens so many times, and I'm going to explain it right now. We had a trailer to tell us to watch another show to see the actual trailer. I hated that. That was so annoying. And the first one was Star Wars. So we had Star Wars Outlaws, very short clip, which said, you want the real trailer? Check out the Ubisoft Forward on Monday. Okay, fine. And then I'll just skip because there was a couple more of these. Let me just find them on my notes here. Oh, I'll get to it. Never mind. I'll get to it. Then we had Neva, brand new indie game. Looks amazing. I'm telling you guys, the indie games were the show, the best part of the show. Highly recommend you guys go check that out. Then we had the big heartbreak for me. 2K, big publishing team, did announce that they were going to reveal one new game from one of their major titles, like a major sequel to a title. There were rumors swirling. Was it going to be Borderlands 4, BioShock 4, Civ 7, or Mafia 4? Now, I'm a huge Borderlands and BioShock fan, so I had a 50-50 chance here that I would get what I want. Unfortunately, I did not get it because the announcement was Civilization 7. The big problem with that is the trailer showed nothing at all. It was nothing. They just said, we're working on it and we're going to have more details in the future. And I was like, man, that, like, I feel like 2K announcing that they were going to reveal something huge and for it to just be Civ 7 is now in production was such a bad way of doing it. They should have just said nothing and just showed this clip, and I think people would have lost their mind and no one would have been disappointed, especially the Civ. I think no one's happy with this. I can't imagine the Civ 7 people, the Civilization community, being excited to see a clip that showed nothing except, oh yeah, a trailer's coming in August. I was like, all right, whatever. Then another very weird thing. Sorry, Black Myth Wukong. It's coming out in August. It looks incredible. We've seen so many trailers for this game, gameplay trailers, and it's coming out soon. Looks awesome. And then they showed a cinematic trailer. Now, very weird. Very much the opposite, where most people get upset when they show a game too early and all they show is a cinematic gameplay trailer and no gameplay. This time, we've seen gameplay for this game for months, and now we get a cinematic, and that's it. Again, why not show gameplay? Like, this is your last chance to really showcase your game that's coming out in August. They did announce a couple collector's edition, look really cool. I really want the headband, but I wish they showed some gameplay, especially because a couple of the people who I was with, I was like, oh man, this game looks awesome. I can't wait for you to see it. And then they showed a cinematic, and all my friends were like, what's the game? I'm like, man, what a fumble on that end. Then we got a trailer for Once Human, which comes out in a month. I don't really have much to say. Metaphor ReFantasio looks awesome. This is a new game from the creators of Persona 5 and 3, 4, and 5. Very excited about this one. I thought they did a really good job with this trailer. They had the developers come out on stage, talk about the classes and how it works. The trailer didn't show too much on the story side. It was much more on the combat side, which RPG combat like this, like Personas and Metaphor, really hard to present, but I feel like they did the best they could. It is really overwhelming to try and show an RPG's menus and options in within a trailer, but I understood it. I got really excited. This is one of my most anticipated games of the year, so cannot wait for that. Then we got a couple VR stuff. Batman Arkham Shadows got a story trailer, no gameplay at all, and then another one of these, you'll get gameplay in the future. Great, thanks. Then we had a really nice surprise, another indie game called Tears of Metal. This is a medieval hack and slash co-op game. Looks really cool. At first, I was a little bit worried when I first saw the clip, but the longer the trailer went on, the more excited I am about that game. Then we got a new Dragon Ball trailer, Sparking Zero, coming out in October. I'm not a huge Dragon Ball guy, so I'd love for you guys to tell me what you thought about it in the comments down below. Then we got Delta Force Hawk Ops. This is a PC first-person shooter game that looks like most other first-person shooter games. It really didn't stand out, but it got two trailers, one for the multiplayer and one for the campaign. Neither one did anything for me, but that's just more of a me thing. Then we got a couple of these combat things. Street Fighter showed off some DLC that's coming out from Fatal Fury, and then we actually saw a new Fatal Fury game. Both of those, not really my thing, so nothing really blew my mind there. Mecha Break coming out in beta in August. Same idea, nothing there for me. Blumhouse, this is really cool actually. So Blumhouse, if you guys don't know, is a movie production team. They release a bunch of horror movies. They're really focused on that. And they actually just created their own side thing called Blumhouse Games. And they said they were going to reveal one game during the showcase. And they actually showed off 5 or 6 games. And basically what they said is that Blumhouse Games is just going to be going around trying to find these indie horror games and help publish them. Amazing. I thought that was a great announcement. Outersoft, if you guys don't know, the Among Us creators, which are Innersoft, also created a team called Outersoft. I'll talk about both of these guys. Blumhouse Game and Outersoft, both doing the same thing, going out of their way to help publish small indie games. With everything, with the layouts and everything, this is just another good way to show like there's hope out there, and the small teams, they got them covered. I really like this. I thought that the games they showed from Blumhouse were really exciting. They said there's at least 1 or 2 games coming out before the end of this year, and everything else is in the future, but I really like what Blumhouse is doing here. I thought that the way they spoke on stage was really refreshing to see that they care about the indie games, and they're really going out of the way. The Jason Blum was also saying, like, we're trying to find the most effed up indie games possible. I thought that was a really good way of presenting that. And Outersoft is doing the same thing. They're a small team that when they created Among Us, there was only like 6 to 10 of them. And they blew up, right? As you guys know, Among Us is one of the biggest games ever. So they're creating a separate company called Outersoft, which their job is to help publish small indie games the same way they wish they had help when they had started. Excellent. I thought these two were some of the best parts about the show. Love seeing that. Then we had the biggest surprise. I jumped out of my seat. My heart rate went so up that my watch told me to calm down during this part. They announced a new co-op beat 'em up Mighty Morphin Power Ranger game. If you guys don't know, I'm a huge Power Ranger fan. I love Power Rangers. It was my childhood growing up, and this game looked amazing. It's called Mighty Morphin Power Ranger Rita's Rewind. It looks like what you would hope for with Shredder's Revenge did for TMNT, but for Power Ranger. I cannot wait. This was the biggest surprise for me. The only thing that broke my heart is we didn't really get a release date, and it ended with only the Steam logo. I'm much more of a console gamer than a PC gamer, so I was really hoping to get it on like PS5 and Xbox, which I'm sure it will. but they didn't end the show, or it ended with not showing it. So I don't think it's coming in time soon. Then another awesome indie game, Dear and Boy. It looks incredible. Go out of your way to check it out. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was next. And I'll be honest, I never played the first one. I heard a lot of good things. This trailer showed a little bit more non-serious. It looked a little bit quirky and silly, and I really liked it. I don't know if I'm gonna try it. I'm not the biggest medieval guy, but the trailer definitely piqued my interest more than the first game did. So I might try and see what's going on with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Slitterhead. This was probably the biggest disappointment. I remember seeing a cinematic trailer for Slitterhead a long time ago. This is the creators of Silent Hill. They branched off and made his own company and is working his own game called Slitterhead. The first time I saw it, I was very excited. This trailer really didn't work for me. It looked kind of rough and not really ready to go. So this was a big heartbreaker. Then we got another indie game called Killer Bean. I think it's, I just wrote here, indie game. I wrote a potato, but it's not a potato. It's Killer Bean. So this looks really cool. Definitely go check it out on your own time. Killer Bean. Awesome. Very surprising. Then we got another game called Cairn. I don't know how to say it. It's a climbing game. It looks fine. Again, another indie game being presented, which was really cool. Then we have a new game by the creator of the Stanley Parable, which is Wonder Stop. Looks awesome. Definitely go check it out. Let me see here. First Descendant is a game that I played in beta that I really liked, and it's getting its full release on July 2nd. I will say the trailer did not show any gameplay at all, and I think it showed people the wrong side of the game because it looked way more epic in the trailer than what it actually is in the game. So maybe not the best trailer to show off. They should have shown some gameplay because the gameplay is really cool, but this trailer was showing like these epic things and this focus on the story, but it is just another free-to-play MMO shooter, so wasn't too keen on that. Among Us, I just talked about the Outer Sloth. Then they had, this is another terrible thing. They showed off a clip of, or an announcement of the Among Us TV show, which has so many great voice actors, and the trailer had no voice acting in it at all. I was like, what is the point? Do not show this trailer if you have nothing to show. God, this was frustrating. And this is, from here onwards, I feel like from there, this is where we're just getting a bunch of nothing was ready. Why are you showing it? Then we had Sonic, more Sonic, Dune Awakening, nothing to show. Battle Aces, a new RTS game for everyone. Looks interesting. I'm not an RTS guy, but this, the way you explained it, is probably a good way for me to give it a shot. I'm definitely going to try that. The Finals is getting a new season next week. Alan Wake 2 DLC releasing tomorrow. Super pumped about that. I'm a big Alan Wake 2 fan. Make sure to go. I'm pretty sure I posted a review of it, so you can check my channel for that. Very excited for the DLC. I'm a little disappointed. The what-if scenarios, I thought it was just going to be a continuation of where Alan Wake 2 ended, but the DLC is actually just more of a what-if based on a couple different characters. I'm still going to play it, but not as super excited about it. New World is an MMO free-to-play game that was on PC, and it's now officially launching on consoles in October. Hyper Light Breaker is coming to early access this summer. They didn't show enough. Party Animals is getting a new mode. They showed like Uno or whatever. And then they showed off a very, very long trailer for Skate 4 with a comedian that I always forget his name, and I feel really bad about it. The trailer went on way too long for them to end the trailer with, oh yeah, the game's not ready. I was like, great. Super pointless. I wish they showed more, but they had nothing to show there. Then they showed a extremely long trailer for Valorant, a game that's been out for so long, announcing it's coming to console. Great announcement. Trailer went on for way too long. It was Valorant trailer, devs talking on stage about Valorant, and then another Valorant trailer, and I was just like, what's happening here? Why are we showing it for this long? All of this to just say, yeah, it's coming to console. Awesome. I think that's a great announcement. I've never played Valorant, so I'm going to play it on console when it comes out. Super pumped. That trailer was way too long. Then we went into Monster Hunter. Love Monster Hunter. I'm a huge fan. I cannot wait for this. This trailer was them saying, yeah, we're going to show you guys more in the future. We just saw a trailer at State of Play a week ago. The only great confirmation here is that we're getting crossplay. Awesome, but the trailer showed nothing new, and it ended with them being like, please be ready because we're going to have more to share at Gamescom. Okay, why are you showing this? And then they ended the showcase with Phantom Blade Zero, which again, I was like, okay, cool. They have this, not one last big major announcement, but we haven't seen Phantom Blade in a very long time. Very pumped for this game. The trailer was really good, but it ended with them saying, oh, you will get the chance to play the demo at all these events. And the events are Summer Game Fest, so the people who are there currently, Gamescom, and all of the other like major events that are made specifically for game journalists and like people who can make the events in like LA or California. So no one around the world is really going to get to play this game anytime soon. Not a bad thing, but this game is not close to being ready. The trailer told us, yeah, it's not ready anytime soon, and they're ending with that. And I was like, oh man, like this should have kind of been in the middle. At the end of the day, it feels like I'm being very negative on this. I had a lot of games like the Lego Horizon. There's a couple of games in there that I was like, I'm excited for them. I feel like they should have organized this better. I think Lego Horizon being the big surprise should have ended the show because it ended with a date, showed a lot of gameplay. It was a nice surprise, and it kind of spoke to everybody. Ending with Phantom Blade Zero really felt like a gut punch of like, you're not a Summer Game Fest, and guess what? You don't get to play this game either because you're not here. I was like, oh man, like it really felt off in that sense. Like I skipped a couple of the announcements here, but overall, I didn't hate the show, but I didn't love it. I definitely feel like this is one of the weakest Summer Game Fest. It's always going to be hard for Jeff Keighley, of course, because he's, PlayStation are doing their own thing, Nintendo are doing their own thing, and Xbox doing their own thing, and Ubisoft want to do their own thing, and Capcom wants to do their own thing. So at this point, Jeff is really feeling like he has to, hope that he gets some stuff and hope that people want to play ball with him. And I feel like he did the best he could. So I'm not necessarily upset at Jeff for putting on a bad show or anything like that. But it is a bad show. I feel like a lot of these companies, like Star Wars, if you're going to show it at Ubisoft, don't show it here. Or at least just give him Star Wars Outlaws and then just show Assassin's Creed at the Ubisoft Forward. Like, you could have done something like that. A lot of these companies being like, we'll give you a little clip, but make sure to tell them if they really want to see it, they have to come to us in the future. It really feels like no one really wanted to work with Jeff Keighley in this show, which is unfortunate. But on the indie side, I do think that he did a great job. Definitely go out of your way to watch a lot of the trailers for the indie games here. I think that they need a lot of support. He even mentioned make sure to go wishlist these games, which is what I did because the indie games, that really helps them. I'm not sure how the Steam algorithm works. I clearly don't know how the YouTube algorithm works either, but on Steam, I guess wishlisting a game really helps the developers, so make sure to go do that for all the small games that you really like. Whew, I've been talking a lot. That's basically how I feel. I'd love to know what you thought. Subscribe because I'm going to be posting again. I'm going to start trying to get back into this. We're going to talk about the Xbox Showcase on Sunday when that happens. So really excited about all of this. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Tell me what you thought. Have a good rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.